Look. Prepare to receive what God has promised you. Listen, my sister and brother, I want to ask you something. Can I get you to consider that when God approached Sarah at 90 years old and told her that she would conceive, she laughed? Why y'all think she laughed? Because that looked impossible. Here she was, 90 years old, and you're promising me that now is the appointed time that I'm going to have a child. She laughed. But what did God ask her? Is there anything too hard for me? My sister and brother, I want you to remember these two words. I am. I am. The great I am. What has God promised you? I am. That situation you're dealing with right now is too big for you, but I am. That promise that he gave you looks impossible to you, but I am. That marriage that's on the brink of divorce, God can change that and turn it around. I am. That resources, the provision that you're looking for, the promise that God gave, he will supply all of your needs. I am. Is there anything too hard for God? I need y'all to get that down in y'all spirit. You know, as I was riding home today from the office, I was listening to that song, I Am. And it came to me, Sarah, when he promised Sarah and Abraham. He came back. He had promised Abraham 25 years prior, but it was the appointed time then. And he came back to see Abraham, and he was talking to Abraham, and he said to Abraham that this time next year you will be holding a son. And Sarah was sitting in the tent, the door of the tent, and she heard God. She laughed. Didn't think God would hear her. How many of you right now, God is giving you a promise that he's going to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you may ask or think? How many of you that God has promised he's going to turn that situation around for you? How many of you have read the Bible and you have seen a promise in the word of God, but in the natural, it looks humanly impossible? I am. I need you to remember those two words, my sister and brother. I am. I am. I am can do all things but fail. I am can speak to your situation and cause anything to manifest for you. I am. I am is prepared to give you your breakthrough. I am says you've reached for the word. You stood in faith in spite of the crowds, in spite of the doubt, in spite of the hardship, in spite of the pain, you continue to reach. In spite of all the people that laughed at you and said the promise you was believing was outlandish because they don't believe in God like you do. But the great I am. I am. I want you to read that story in Genesis with Abraham and Sarah. And I want you to get that word in your spirit. I am. Just like God asked Sarah, is there anything too hard for me? What are you looking at right now in the natural, my sister and brother? What are you looking at? I want you to put down what you're looking at in the comments. And I want you to think about what you put down. Is it too hard for God? It might be hard for us. It might be a situation and a circumstance you can't figure out. It may be a court case that the lawyer, your lawyer or your public pretender is telling you you're going to face time. You're not going to be able to get out of that. Your marriage, your spouse is going to take half or more than half. Your spouse is going to be able to get the kids. The doctor is telling you there's no way you can overcome that sickness. The psychologist is telling you, oh, I can't help you. The addiction facility is telling you you're never going to overcome that addiction. I am. I need you to remember those two words. I am. What is it that you're facing right now, my sister and brother, that seems impossible? What looks impossible for you? 14 lawsuits, garnishing 25% of my wages if they were able to get the judgments. But the great I am. I stood on Psalms 54. Come with your great and mighty power, Lord, to save and deliver me. I stood on 2 Chronicles 20. And I believe, according to Romans 2:11, God said in his word that he shows no favoritism. I made mistakes. Jehoshaphat made. There is no perfect person in the word of God but Jesus. And God delivered and healed them. God made a way for them. The children of Israel, look how many times God delivered them. They would do evil in the sight of God. They would follow behind other gods and other nations, right? They would abandon God and turn against God and blatantly sin against his commandments in Exodus 20. but the great I am was merciful. Why do you think God says he requires mercy over sacrifice? The great I am. Now, I'm not saying we just go around here willy-nilly sinning and doing whatever we want to do, but the great I am is merciful, and there's nothing too hard for him. And so I don't care what the doctor said. I don't care what the lawyer says. I don't care what that court case is looking like. I don't care what the divorce is looking like. I don't care what the resource centers are telling you. The great I am. I need you to listen to Jason Nelson. I need you to get that song in your spirit. I can handle it. There's nothing too hard for our God, my sister and brother. If he resurrected Lazarus from the dead, if he laid down his life and took it back up again on the cross, why do you think that thing you're dealing with is too hard for God? I know in the natural it looks impossible for you. I know you've been praying and you've been waiting and you've been staying in faith. You've been doing like I studied today from Luke 8:4, the woman with the issue of blood. You have done all you could in the natural. She spent all she had. My sister and brother, you've done everything that you could. And the promise that God is telling you in Exodus 14:14, I will fight for you. You need only be still. As Jesus said in Mark 9, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to you if you will believe. Believing is the hardest part for us. Because this flesh, this thing right here, it wants to see how. It wants to be able to figure out how. It wants to see from A to Z. Well, let me tell you, the great I am is never going to give you all the details. That's why he says that without faith, it's impossible to please him. For he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those that diligently seek him. That woman with the issue of blood, she pressed her way through. She didn't know if she was going to get her healing because she knew what the law says. She wasn't supposed to touch Jesus because she had a flow, a issue. But she was desperate. And she believed that if I could just touch but the hem of his garment. What word are you touching, my sister and brother? Are you believing that if he gave Abraham and Sarah a child in their old age, that he was able to quicken her womb? He was able to quicken Hannah's womb. Do you believe that he can do the same for you? Do you believe that he can make the impossible possible? Will you cry out to him and say, Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief? Do you believe? Will you be like that Roman officer, the Roman centurion, that believed in the power and the authority of Jesus' word? He told him, you don't even have to come to my house. All you have to do is speak the word from where you are, because I too am a man under authority, and I know the power of my word, that if I tell my soldier come, he must come. If I say go, he will go. When your employer tell you to go sit at that desk and do what you're supposed to do, you do it. Why? Because that's your employer, and you are under the power and authority of that employer's word. My sister and brother, listen. Prepare to receive what God has for you. I don't care how impossible it looks. I am. That's who I am. Just let me be who I am for you. The doctor says cancer. I am. The lawyer says jail time. I am. Just let him fix it. Just let him fix it. Please listen to that song. I'm not a singer, but listen. I just wanted to come in here and encourage you, my sister and brother. Whatever that situation is for you that looks so impossible for you in the natural, I want you to put it down in the comment. Because what I want you to know, I am. Is there anything too hard for God? Just like he asked Sarah, is there anything too hard for me? There is nothing God can't do. If you will believe, you're going to have to push past the thoughts that come up in your head every day because you don't see a way. You're going to have to press past what the experts say. You're going to have to press past what that lawyer says. You're going to have to press past what the doctor says. And even if God allows it, you still got to believe that he can deliver you. Remember, he allowed Lazarus to die. He allowed Lazarus to die. But what did he say? Did I not say to you, if you would believe, my sister and brother, God can change that situation. He can turn it around to work it all together for your good. He can give you favor with man because you have favor with him. All I need you to remember is, I am. I pray that this has encouraged you and blessed you, my sister and brother. Shalom.